Carl Jung said, "Awaken and shine your light for others to follow. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." This is an invitation to move differently in the world, to operate from a place of deep knowing and alignment. I'm Adrienne McDonald, and welcome to the Source Code Podcast. Let's dive in. Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. Grab your favorite beverage and let's get into it. I had quite the adventure last weekend, full of twists and turns and things not working out as planned, and it got me thinking about a topic I've been wanting to muse about, especially as a recovering control freak. So today we're going to talk about surrender. In personal and spiritual development communities, we hear a lot about surrender. And what does that really mean? A lot of what I see out there, hear out there, even read sometimes, is dressed up in ways I think that, quite frankly, are about giving your power away. And spiritual surrender does not mean that you give your power away. It doesn't mean you give your agency away in any way. But before we go much further, let's define what I mean when I say surrender, because I think it's helpful for us to get on the same page. For me, when I say surrender, it's about embracing trust and letting go of the need to control every aspect of your life. It's about faith, generally in some sort of divine intelligence of some type, and acceptance, rather than taking just a passive stance in things. It's about having a belief that there's some order in the chaos of life, that the challenges teach us something. From a shamanic standpoint or perspective, power loss happens when you allow your spirit to be overshadowed or dominated by another person or group. And this could be something along the lines of codependence or any other unhealthy relationship dynamics. It's portraying yourself in all the ways. And that doesn't have to be only in interpersonal relationships. I mean, even your career addictions, compulsions can lead to having your spirit, your vitality lessened. And there's even practices, rituals around reclaiming power so that you can restore balance and ensure that your spirit remains aligned with your true purpose. I think sometimes we'll see, especially in the beginning stages of a person's journey, a very strong attachment for gathering external resources and coupling that with a lack of questioning. It's sort of the guru syndrome, I think. And in some personal development circles, and I've witnessed this, there's a really strong emphasis on following a mentor without questioning. And that is a perfect example of relinquishing your personal power, your ignoring your intuition, possibly. And when you're placing all your trust and decision makings in the hand of another person, well, when surrender is interpreted as blindly accepting someone else's teachings or directions, you may stop using your critical thinking skills. You may ignore your intuition. And all of this is about giving your agency away. And when you're working with someone one-on-one, someone who's a really good mentor, coach, spiritual director, teacher, what have you, and that starts to happen, they're going to call it out. If they see it, they'll call it out. However, sometimes in large programs or events, or if you're just following someone online, it's entirely possible that the person leading is unaware of the projection. So this is where the accountability still lies within you. You've got to learn to trust yourself and not put people on a pedestal. And the concept of letting go can also be misunderstood as a call to passive acceptance of all circumstances, including the negative or even harmful ones, right? And that sometimes can lead to inaction and a sense of helplessness, and where people don't feel like they have the power to change their circumstances. And then we have our destiny and fate crowd. And in some personal development philosophies, there's this emphasis on surrendering to destiny or fate, and that belief can make people feel like their efforts and choices don't matter because everything is predetermined. So I feel like it's really, really important to know how your particular intuition works and listen to it. You've got to become the expert of you, because you've got to keep your agency within the concept of surrendering. This is one of the reasons why I love working with human design and Gene Keys, because the focus is expanding your own agency. You're getting a deeper understanding of your own innate gifts and talents. However, even within that, it's still your choice. The Gene Keys, human design, they can give you insight into things that are more naturally you, but there's no hard and fast rules saying that you must do this one thing this way. That's not how this works. And I think sometimes people get attached to something like, well, I'm a projector, so I need to do this, or I'm a generator, so I have to do it this way. But there are tens of thousands and thousands and thousands of combinations, and also through your life experience, of how that's going to manifest in your particular life. This is about developing a deeper sense of trust within yourself. And that it's just a guide. All of these things, all the gurus out there are just guides. That's what you have to think about when you start learning and start contemplating. Surrendering is an active decision, and it requires your awareness and intention. It's about constantly choosing to trust rather than being forced into a submissive state, right? By surrendering to some sort of a divine intelligence or the universal things out there, you can find empowerment by trusting in the process and believing in a larger plan, believing in your larger vision, believing that you're supported in some way, shape, or form. Because that trust can reduce anxiety and foster this sense of inner peace. And when you have that, that enables more effective action in the present moment. There's a balance, though, of surrender and action. And surrender and personal agency are very complementary, right? So surrender allows you to align with a greater purpose or flow, where personal agency involves taking the inspired action within that alignment. And spiritual surrender can lead you to clearer guidance and tapping into intuition, and it gives you that enhanced decision-making and the ability to act. It's about listening and then acting from a place of inner wisdom and alignment. It's about letting go of the need to control outcomes, but not relinquishing the responsibility to act. And I think that was one of the biggest lessons, or has been the biggest lesson for me. It's like, I don't need to control how this needs to go. It's about releasing attachments to specific results and being more open to possibility. And I think that sometimes when you are a recovering control freak, and one of the things that I was really guilty of is wanting things to be a certain way. And I would be so laser focused on that if something better came along, I couldn't see it. I just couldn't see it. And when you have that and cultivate that relationship with the universe, it offers a sense of inner freedom, because you don't feel alone anymore. You're trusting in some sort of higher power, and that enables you to navigate challenges with a sense of support and clarity that you didn't have before, because now that's moving into what most people call co-creation. And that is part of the path of personal growth. It's that self-reflection and fostering that deeper connection with yourself and thus with divine intelligence. So, and I think it helps us see ourselves in the larger picture, in the role that we play in the larger context. And I think that gives more meaning to our lives. And it's certainly going to empower our actions more. Like, we're not out here on a boat in the middle of the ocean all alone, right? And I think that once you start really taking the action in that way, you'll find that the surrender isn't about weakness. And I think that was like my big thing with control was, well, I don't want to appear weak. But there's this enormous strength in finding that you find with surrender in the trust and the faith. And there's because there's this balance between the trust and the action. And I feel like it really helps relax the nervous system as well, because you don't feel like you have to be on all the time. And that enables you to live a more empowered, peaceful, purposeful life. And generally, you don't feel like you're fighting so much, right? Especially if you're using tools like Human Design and Gene Keys, which it can give you the framework. It can give you a map to say, okay, maybe if I operate this way, let me try this and go about things this way, it will be a little less conflict, a little bit more flow. And I think that I'm still even now amazed at something will come up that I would have reacted to significantly different even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. In fact, last weekend I was at a writer's con with James, and we had gone down there, and our hotel reservations got messed up, and then we had to figure those out, and then we had a backup hotel, and those reservations didn't work out. And James was looking at me and was like, well, maybe this is the universe telling me that I shouldn't be here. That is not how this works. When you're in your not self theme of human design, that's not the universe knocking you down, telling you something shouldn't work. That's just you being in your not self. If you're for me, I'm a generator, so frustration is the not self. When I'm in not self, that is my red flag for me to go look and go, okay, what piece of the puzzle am I missing here? I'm trying to control something and I'm not seeing something. That is one of my big red flags. So your not self theme in your human design can be incredibly insightful. But one of the other things that happened last weekend is inevitably when I'm at these things, someone will ask me what fiction I'm writing, and I don't write fiction. But I get into a conversation with them, and I was in the conversation with someone talking about Celtic shamanism and the practitioner training that I'm in. And we were sitting at a table with several folks, and I heard a visible snark when I said that. And it was very interesting because I didn't react. I just continued to have my conversation, and it was like just a little blip on the radar and then it went away. I didn't feel the need to say anything. I didn't feel the need to prove myself or anything like that. And I saw a poem by Young Pueblo like the day after that, and I thought, gosh, man, this really sort of sums up the nuance and understanding that surrender can have an effect on your life. And it enables you to live more authentically. And here is the poem. The magic happens once you accept that you cannot regulate others' emotions or experiences. That's when you begin to live your most authentic life. Some people will not get you, but what matters is that you get you. Be kind, help others, and don't forget to live for yourself. I think that you really can't live your best authentic life without having a measure of spiritual surrender in it. It makes it so much easier and so much more peaceful and so much more joy and so much more happiness. And of course, there's tools out there to guide you. There's mentors out there to guide you. But at the end of the day, it's your relationship with the universe. That's what you need to cultivate. It's that self-trust. So I hope you found this episode interesting and insightful. Once again, you can pull down your free Human Design source code report from my website. If you already have it and you're like, this is really cool, but I want to go deeper, I will put a link to getting being able to schedule a Human Design reading with me in the show notes. As always, thanks for listening. I hope you have found this helpful. If you have and want to share it out, if you feel called to, that would be awesome. Or if you feel so called, leave a review as well. And remember to find beauty every day and seek the magic in the mundane. Thank you for listening to the Source Code Podcast. If you found this episode insightful and feel moved to, please leave a review and share it out with those you believe will find it helpful. You can check out my website for more information at www.adriannemcdonald.com. And for more of my more regular musings, connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. I hope you have a beautiful week.